Now, what is left of this lesson is the impact of AI. The use of the internet dominates the lives of a large proportion of the world's population. World's population is supposed to be 8 billion, and internet has invaded that population, about half the population. Internet users are roughly half the population, so it's about 4 billion. Global organizations that provide the systems underpinning this user activity are collecting and storing massive amounts of data. As mentioned earlier, data, massive amounts of data concerning how the internet is being used. If this data is only being used to enable the organization to increase its profits, this could be seen as normal business practice. Normally, any organization does that to increase the profits. That's normal business practice. However, if the data is not being securely stored, it could get into the wrong hands and be used for criminal or subversive activity. So if you are just keeping it, all right, okay, but if it gets to the wrong hand, can be used for criminal. Criminal, you know what it is. Subversive is like terrorism, terrorist activity. There are different concerns with respect to the introduction of autonomous mechanical products such as robots, robotic devices, and driverless vehicles into our daily lives. So they are fast intruding into our lives. There are arguments that technological developments lead to employment of more people to manufacture, service, and install the new products. So different arguments. One is that the technological developments lead to employment of more people. One is to manufacture, then service, and also to install the new product. There is a further argument that more technology leads to less manual labor, therefore to increase leisure time. So if the technology is developed to do the man's job and more efficiently and quickly, that will lessen the manual labor. So people will have more leisure time. One counter argument is that more technology leads to fewer jobs because machines are doing the work. So three aspects, three perspectives you'll have to consider. This will lead to unemployment because machines are doing the jobs that the humans were doing. So they lose jobs. Another is that such developments simply make the rich richer and the poor poorer. That you will know how. One example I can give you is take the credit card, for example. The rich people have credit cards, the poor people, they don't have bank accounts and they don't know what credit cards are. But who gets the discounts? The credit card holders, not the cash payers, people who pay cash. Certain places, yes, like certain other institutes, but generally supermarkets and malls and all that, many places, you get discount if you pay from this credit card 20%, another one 15%, like that. All the deals or the discounts are given on that. So that means technology. The rich people will get richer and the poor people will spend more money and they will get poorer. So there are various arguments. No? Some people are excited by the introduction of driverless vehicles. Surely. Even I would like to see a vehicle going without a driver. Of course, we can see these unmanned, what you call drones, no? Unmanned drones and planes. During the war, there were unmanned planes taking photographs and all that in the enemy territory. Then what about the spaceships? Unmanned spaceships going as far as Mars, Jupiter. But other people believe that the potential for accident will be increased and that there are not enough measures to prevent accident. So these are all right, excitement and all that. But some people believe that the potential for accidents will increase and not enough measures to prevent it then. Robots can be used in environments that would be dangerous for humans to enter. Examples, chemical, chemical reactor plant, nuclear plant, or maybe underground, yeah, there may be gases, poisonous gases where humans can't go, fire, underwater. So there are many instances where these can, the driverless without humans, if they can probe and find out, then that is more advantageous. Giving the robot the capability to act autonomously, that is, self-managed, would make it more useful in such environments because if the humans control, they don't see inside and it's difficult. But if the robot is given automatic, but depending on that, at that point to take a decision, a split second decision, split second can make a big difference in a very crucial moment. The environmental impact of robot manufacture and disposal is probably the most significant issue. Manufacture as well as the disposal. Robots are manufactured and require materials for their construction. There is only a limited supply of the raw materials needed. So that the environment is affected because you are running out of those materials. Also, all mechanical and electronic devices eventually end up on the scrap heap, contributing to the already serious problem of waste products, harming the environment and creatures living in this environment. The use of improved expert systems to aid practicing doctors and nurses is clearly a benefit. So for the doctors and the nurses who can have this kind of robot, it will be very beneficial. However, if these systems came to replace doctors and nurses, the social consequences are difficult to predict. Naturally, if the robots try to give injections or take decisions and all that, you can't beat the human doctors and the nurses for that. They have that is the end of there are different definitions of ethics. Yes, we saw three definitions and we took only one for the chapter. Professional organizations provide rules of conduct that include guide ethical behavior. Since ethical behavior ethics are not laid down in law, the professional bodies, organizations have come forward to lay down rules of conduct. There is a history of software disasters that might have been prevented if good software engineering practice had been employed. There are things called best practices in any field, and especially these are studied in the software development, best practices that will prevent disasters happening. It's like the saying that when you always do the right thing, you will never go wrong. See the meaning. When you always do the right thing, you will never go wrong. Something like that. The best practices will prevent uh, disasters. Copyright is formal recognition of ownership. Formal means it's laid down, stated, and it's registered. There is proof. The use of software is controlled by a license. As mentioned earlier, the user doesn't get the ownership, gets a right to use it only. Only open source software is provided with the source code which allows freedom of usage. So only open source, the freeware and the um, open source software. Artificial intelligence is currently mainly focused on the development of autonomous mechanical products and machine learning based on access to massive data sets. So massive data sets, the main item behind is artificial intelligence. One more thing to mention here, open source software is provided with the source code, which allows freedom of usage. I'm sure you know about the source code. That is the program that you write, programmer writes, and it is not given in commercial software. And the other, only the open source. That is why the name open source came. The source is open to the uh, developers. They can download it to their computers and change it as they wish. So then I hope you will follow this and do the exam style questions and the past paper questions.